Coming up on the next episode of Power, Passion, and Purpose.
Call my parents, call paramedics. Paramedics get there before my parents do. And it's probably 7 or 8 between the paramedics and the firemen, probably 7 or 8 come into the house. And I knew as soon as the first one came out, because they don't say anything. They just kind of walk out of the house. I knew he wasn't breathing. I knew he had died. From tragedy to triumph. What's interesting about tragedy is that you typically don't see it coming, right? Like, you go about your life, you have no idea what the next moment brings you. And so my life is truly that. I'm a living example of waking up, wonderful day, and having a conversation with my husband, laughing and joking. My daughter's on spring break. We go spend the day, having fun, going to the children's museum or whatever we did that day, just having a good day. And that's the beauty of life. I was in a sweet spot, in a sweet place of where I wanted to be. About 11 o'clock that night, my daughter awakes and she's crying. That's not out of the norm either. She's 2 at the time. But typically what would happen is my husband would wake up and get her. And so this night he didn't wake up, and I'm just like, oh, okay. But I pushed him to do something to wake him up, like, you okay? And when I pushed him, I instantly knew that something wasn't right. Literally in one day, my life changed. Like, my life, I woke up with a husband, with my child, happy, smiling. And before midnight, I had lost my husband.
My name is Joshua Mercer. I'm an Allstate agent here in Chicago's Beverly area. My agency's been open for about 1.5 years now. My mom's been an agent for about 25 years now, so ever since the age of 7, I've been following in her footsteps. Been in this community since 3rd grade, so I was pretty much born and raised here, so I know it like the back of my hand. I'm passionate about being an Allstate agent because every day I get to solve people's problems and provide them with peace of mind. If someone has a major incident or a crisis that happens in their house or in their life, I'm one of the first people that they call. And I feel good knowing that I'm backed by Allstate, that I can pretty much help them do that process and provide them with that peace of mind. We believe that when it comes to customers, we should communicate with them at least every 6 months just to review their policy for any major changes that may happen in their life. Our philosophy is that the insurance that you have right now may not be the right coverage that you need. We want to make sure that we check in with our customers as much as possible to review their coverages.
I didn't know just what life would deal me after that. Oddly enough, a 1.5 weeks prior to my husband's death, I was in Atlanta for a speakers conference about speaking for pay. And I kept just struggling with what my topic was. I wasn't sure if I was going to stay in the nonprofit sector of things and really talk to people about expanding their nonprofit career. I just didn't have any idea. And my girlfriends that came over the next day, one of them was with me at that conference, and she said at first, I think, she's like, you struggled about what you were going to speak about and how you were going to launch your speaking career. And she's like, this is it. Like, your pain, you're going to show people how to get past the pain. You're going to show people how to triumph. That it clicked for me that I wanted to help wives really appreciate and understand what they have in a marriage, because mine was cut short, right? And then a girlfriend said to me, or actually not a girlfriend, Monique Carradine, one of my M&Ms, said to me, just start at home. Have some girlfriends over, for some cheese and wine, and start there. And I was like, oh, I guess I could. That doesn't sound real glamorous. That's not what I really wanted, but I guess I'll start there. Lo and behold, August of 2014, just a few months after losing my husband, I started this group called Circle of Wives in my home. 10 women came, and we had the best 2 hours in talking about what it means to be a wife. Where do we learn how to be a wife? How does that make us, feel? What do we think? And it was a challenge for me because here I am, a widow now. My title has changed from wife to widow, but I started something specifically for wives, as a widow. And, and it took my friends to say, you still were a wife. You know what it means to be a wife. Doesn't take away from what you've experienced because you're now a widow. It's okay. And we met every other month until a year later, I had my first Circle of Wives retreat, a half-day retreat where I had over 30 women in attendance. And they loved it. The bigger vision for Circle of Wives and that particular brand is really to have a wellness center specifically for women where they can, for wives, I should say, where they can get away and kind of find that balance that we talked about earlier. It's really an opportunity for them to come to a place, de-escalate from everything that's going on around them, have a session with a therapist if need be, have a massage therapist on hand so that they can just release all of that from their body, being able to take part in a yoga class, being able to simply sit and read with other wives and just talk about whatever they want to talk about. Like, I really want to see that wellness center. I can see that within 5 years. I can see that happening within 5 years, the first wellness center, in the city of Chicago, or better yet, actually, because I love the water, I'd love it to be right off the water somewhere on one of the coasts. And then having wife retreats all across, the nation.